Hello and welcome to another Watch Report video review. My name is James Stacy and today we'll be taking a look at the Schofield Signalman GMT PR. This is a watch that I'm really excited to have a chance to show you. It's a very limited edition piece. This is actually unit 001 of the eventual 300 that will be made of the model you see here. It's made by a small British brand, Schofield. They're based out of the south tip of the UK. An absolutely lovely watch with a lot of cool technology and some of the best new design I've seen recently. Like I said, I'm really excited to be able to show it to you, so let's take a nice close look at the Schofield Signalman GMT PR. So here's the Signalman GMT PR a little closer up. What you're getting is a 44mm stainless steel polished case, 15mm tall. It's a 52mm lug to lug, so it should suit just about any wrist. I certainly had no problem with it on my 7.5 inch wrist. It's a domed sapphire crystal with an internal anti-reflective coating. The case itself has an anti-magnetic treatment to the internals, and the movement is actually a Swiss Soprod 9335 automatic, so that's a 31 jewel Swiss movement. You get pearlage and blued screws and rhodium plating. Now the Signalman doesn't have a display case back, so that's something just done because Schofield wanted to make sure you were getting the best they could pack into the watch. The Soprod 9335 does give you a GMT display at 6 o'clock here and a power reserve just above the Schofield name on the dial. So you get that along with a date here at 3 o'clock and then standard three-hand time telling. It's 500-meter water resistant, making it an excellent sport watch. Should be able to keep up with just about any use. And the internals, the case and such, are German made. It's English designed and Swiss powered, so you really can't ask for much more than that. Let's take a nice close look at some of the functions and how it's actually used. Okay, so there's not a lot to explain as far as a power reserve goes. The little arrow shows you how much power reserve is left in the mechanical movement of the watch. When it's down in the red, either wear the watch more often, which likely won't be an issue with this, or hand wind it a bit to get it up a little higher. You get an absolutely excellent crown, beautiful action, great fit and finish, one of the easiest to screw and unscrew I've ever seen. In regards to the GMT complication, the GMT is the small subdial here, gives you the readout of a second time zone. Very handy feature, one that very nice to see and certainly fitting on a British designed timepiece. It is a locked GMT hand, so when you advance the standard time of the movement, it will advance the GMT hand accordingly, which I'll show you now. So back off this nice oversized crown. It fits into the case beautifully, especially with the rather complex shape of the case. So two pulls gives you the setting, and you'll see the GMT hand jumps forward as well as we advance the time. And then screws right back in. Piece of cake. Like I said, one of the easiest I've ever used as far as crowns. Feels really solid as well. To advance the GMT hand separately, you'll need to use a tool, which Schofield includes with the watch. It pushes a small kind of flush mounted button in the 4 o'clock lug here. I hope that shows up okay. The polished finish of the watch is lovely, but difficult to light. So what you'll see here is by advancing that button, you'll be able to advance the GMT hour hand to a different time zone than you normally would use. So the Schofield brand, along with this watch, the Signalman GMT PR, and the Signalman DLC, which is the even more limited diamond-like carbon-coated version of the Signalman, has been completely designed from the ground up, brand and watch, by one man, a Giles Ellis, who currently runs the company and has handled all the marketing, the design of the watch. He has a history in design, and what you get as far as the design in the Signalman is a no compromise as far as aesthetics are concerned. So you do see something of a small date aperture here at 3. I would say it's slightly smaller than what we'd be used to on a dive watch. It's not unusable in any way. It's just, at an angle you're not going to be able to read it, and straight on the both the numbering and the aperture itself is rather small, and that's done to preserve the overall aesthetic balance of the watch. This is also likely why you don't see a full track on the GMT, as it would eat into the kind of outer ring of the dial. The dial itself is 2 layers. The center area of the dial is slightly recessed, holding the power reserve and the GMT movement in the hour hand. The minute hand runs all the way over to the second layer, which gives you your minute scales, your numerals and such. You can see they are lovely finish, lots of chrome accents. The watch is very special feeling without being blingy or ostentatious in any way, and I think you'll see that when I put it on wrist. While it has something of a similarity to something like a Panerai with a fairly sparse dial and minimal markings, and obviously you can get it with complications, I think this is the more stylish option, certainly the more limited option, and one that just examples an excellent design. One of the most beautiful watches we've seen recently. Here we have the case back of the Signalman GMT PR. This gives you its unit number, so you'll see 001 of 300. A little bit more detail about the watch, and then you get this great Lighthouse design. Now, much of the design elements of the watch, or its inspiration, it comes from lighthouses. So you get kind of the shape of the hands are like a light pattern leaving a lighthouse, and on the back here you even have Smeaton's Tower, which is a lighthouse from the UK. Its shape is said to be inspired by a lighthouse. I think the case is absolutely gorgeous. I love these pronounced lugs. I love this design on the side of the case, is just absolutely lovely. Okay, so here we are taking a quick look at the loom on the Signalman GMT PR. The hands and the markers that are illuminated aren't especially large, so they don't carry a lot of loom, but I haven't had any problem using the loom on the watch. I've actually found it to be just fine. It just isn't what you'd expect maybe from a dive watch, or some of the watches that you see that have larger hands and numerals to hold more luminous material. All in all, not bad at all given the size and rather svelte design of the hands and markers. Well, let's take a look at a wrist shot and some of the accessories. Okay, so very briefly, here is the box and such that comes with the Signalman GMT PR. See, I've got it on wrist here. So you get a nice little latch on the box. It's a beautiful wood box, definitely fitting of the price point and quality seen in the Signalman itself. You get a wood top here just to keep it from knocking around when you're moving it about. Here you have your manual. Get a cloth for wiping, polishing up the case. Definitely something that's necessary, as those of you who have owned polished steel watches, they do attract their fair share of fingerprints. And lastly, you get a tool for actuating that button in the lug to advance the GMT measure of the watch. So here's the Signalman GMT PR on wrist. Gorgeous watch, excellent build quality, great and very usable features. Probably one of the most special feeling watches I've ever seen, and I have tried some really expensive watches on in my time. As far as the actual feel and look of the watch, it's super luxurious without being ostentatious or flashy in any way at all. This is definitely the Jag XJ of watches. The styling is excellent. The technology seems to be rock solid, and it's even good to 500 meters, so it's going to make a very capable sport watch. I love this green strap. There's an option for a shark skin as well. The stainless steel version is limited to 300 units. There's a DLC version which is limited to 100 units. Now there's pre-order pricing in effect until June, so if you order before June, you'd be looking at a price point of 2,958 pounds sterling, which is at today's rate about $46.80 US. Post June, so after the pre-order time, you'll be looking at more like 3,549 pounds, which is going to give you about a $5,600 price point. So you are looking at the price range of, say, an entry-level Panerai, a Bremont, something like that. This is a lovely watch. It's beautifully made. If you are looking at something like a Panerai, by all means, please consider this. Panerais are fairly played out. You're going to see them on everyone's wrists. This is going to stand out without being too flash, and it's an absolutely gorgeous watch. and one that I've really enjoyed wearing. Now, the DLC version, limited to 100 pieces, has a pre-order price of £3,342 sterling, which is roughly $5,300. And if you go after June, you're looking at a price point at today's transfer rate of about $6,350 or 4,010 pounds sterling. So not a cheap watch. You're definitely looking into that premium price point, but extremely limited, very much exclusive, and just some of my most favorite design. We'd like to thank Giles at Schofield Watches for loaning us Unit 001. We're happy to have it in our care for the time, and it's really been a pleasure to be able to take a look at such a lovely watch. For Watch Report, my name is James Stacy, and this has been our review of the Schofield Signalman GMT PR. Thanks very much for watching.